You're listening to the Doctor Is In podcast, brought to you by MartinClinic.com. During the episode, the doctors share a lot of information. As awesome as the info may be, it is not intended to diagnose, cure, treat, or prevent any disease. It's strictly for informational purposes.
Well, good morning, everyone. We're going to talk about eating low carb. I sound like a broken record, but I want to go over this morning. I think you'll find it's always interesting because my staff know this because they work with me on a daily basis, and they know the benefits of our eating program. They see it every day. Patients come in on their second visit or third visit or whatever, and when they've implemented changes in their diet, it has made an enormous difference. I mean, what pumps up our tires at the office is getting people who come in and say, look, and they see the changes that have been made in their, specifically in their eating. And man, oh man, it pumps up our tires every day. We just feel, man, you got it. You did it. Good for you. And so this morning, I just want to talk about the benefits. Now, I want to talk to you this morning about the benefits of low carb eating, okay? What happens when you lower your carbohydrates, when you eat low carb, okay? So a lot of things happen, and I just want to go through that this morning. When you eat low carbs, okay? Now, I didn't say no carbs. Everything gets better when you eat low carb. And again, I didn't say no carb, although in the 4-week reset, I really recommend eating no carbohydrates for 4 weeks. I just found that in my experience, and last week was 45 years of experience in nutrition. I just want to say that it is very, very, very important to eat low carbohydrate. And I want to give you the benefits this morning. And I know you guys know this stuff, but I think it's important to review it and just to reinforce the idea of eating low carb. So when I say that, the 4-week challenge, by the way, and the 4-week reset is to literally reset the whole body. It literally resets the whole body. It affects every organ in your body. I found this out. I've proven it to thousands of patients. So I just want to tell you that if you do a reset and you eat low carb, all the benefits are incredible, from your brain to your heart, to your hormones, to your cells, to it's good for everything. And I want to go through that. And here's some of the primary reasons that this way of eating. So when I say, eggs, meat and cheese, fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds, legumes. Now look, again, I want to separate. I want my patients, when they're really metabolically out of whack, I like them to do a 4-week challenge and a reset, and then with a lifestyle eating, meaning that here's what I found after 4 weeks. When you eat low carb, and I mean really low carb for 4 weeks, it changes you metabolically. And what happens after that, when you have a bad meal, a junky meal or whatever, you know what? You don't feel good. And you know what? That's a blessing. Think of it as a blessing, because what happens, you get so used to eating good. And here's what's happening. Inside your body has changed fuels. So instead of having crappy fuel, you're now running on jet fuel. This has enormous ramifications for everything in your body. Everything in your body gets better in 4 weeks. 4 weeks. It actually happens faster than that. But I'm telling you, in 4 weeks, your body reshapes its cells. The organs regenerate. It's amazing what happens. And you know what, guys? It doesn't matter what age you do this. It doesn't, the age, well, The younger, the better, of course. But I found that it doesn't matter what age you're at, you do this reset and everything gets better. And when you eat low carb, okay, when you eat low carb, number one, you lower inflammation in the body. Now, inflammation is, a lot of doctors believe that inflammation is at the root of all diseases. Every disease, cancer, cardiovascular, diabetes, whatever, their inflammation is at the root. Well, like I love what Tony Jr. says. He says, inflammation isn't Houdini. It just doesn't appear out of nowhere. The reason you have inflammation in your body is because of insulin. Insulin is the greatest cause of inflammation in your body. So when you start to change your diet and eat a low carb diet, and especially if you do the program of resetting your body, let your metabolism reset itself, then you will lower inflammation. If you lower inflammation, you will lower a lot of things, but especially your risk of cancer, of heart disease, of diabetes. Lowering insulin lowers inflammation. It's one of the greatest benefits of eating low carbs, guys. When you cut, like I just get patients sometimes, they start with, I cut out my sugars. Now there's good, bad, and ugly sugars. But in this day and age, and this is why I want to do a reset with absolutely no sugars, even God's candies, fruits. I start that reset by getting them to turn off the pancreas. And when you turn off the pancreas and you turn off insulin, you turn down inflammation. Yes, inflammation is, I love Tony was saying, like, inflammation is like fog in your body. You know, you've been out on a foggy day and you can't see 2 feet ahead of you. Well, that's what inflammation does inside your bodies. Your cells can't communicate with each other properly, and it affects your immune system, and it affects it. That's why we see so much autoimmune today. And I didn't even put that down, but inflammation affects autoimmune disease, because this is why I see MS in my office every week. I see, is Parkinson's immune? I think it is. And lupus and rheumatoid arthritis and whatever. When you lower inflammation, of course, you're going to lower edema in your body. That you see people and they're bloated. They have that bloated look. And a lot of people, every time they eat, they feel bloated. Well, that is a sign of inflammation in the body. The body is it's expanding with this inflammation, this fog that doesn't allow your cells to communicate properly with each other. And inflammation due to insulin is a major, major cause. Autoimmune, joints, people that go on this 4-week reset. I've had hundreds of my patients tell me, Doc, by the 2nd week, I didn't have any more pain, or I had much less pain. Guys, if you're listening to me and you live with fibromyalgia or chronic inflammation, diet, lower that inflammation in your body by lowering insulin in your body. It is so effective. There's no medication like it. There's no medication on the planet that will do what a low carb diet will do for you. So for 4 weeks, no noodles, no pasta, no rice, no cereals, no sugar, no muffins, no bagels, no milk, no alcohol. 4 weeks. And I don't even recommend you have any fruit, even though that's good sugar, just to reset the body. Okay, so what happens? You lower inflammation because you lower insulin. When you lower insulin, of course, you lower your risk of diabetes. But guys, when you do this, think of what cancer needs fuel. Cancer needs fuel. And glucose, it needs sugar. Don't believe the lies out there coming from the sugar industry and the food industry and the pharmaceutical industry who want you to be sick. They don't, I don't want to get at their motives, but they make more money when you're sick. I don't want you to be sick. And if you have signs of look, you know what one of the major symptoms of inflammation is? The major symptom of inflammation: fatigue. The fog inside the body is making you tired, and you're not getting into a deep sleep. There's so much anxiety today in the world. Anxiety is taking over depression in mental health. And these things, look, you can't fix everything with food, but it sure stinking helps. It's one thing you can control. You can't control everything in life, but you can control your food, what you put in your mouth every day. Lower, guys, your insulin. Lower insulin, you lower inflammation, you lower your risk of heart disease, you lower your risk of cancer, you lower your risk of autoimmune, you lower your pain levels, muscles and joints. It's amazing what happens. And I'm telling you guys, it happens quickly. It happens quickly. I tell my patients, trust me. You came to see me, now trust me. It's going to be painful, especially if you put your hand up and say, my name is Tony and I'm a carbaholic. I like my sugars. I like my pasta. I like my bread. I like my noodles. And I know people, we live in a carb infested world. And I understand that. I'm fully cognizant of that. But guys, these are changes, and you've got to, I always say my motto in life is desire, 3 Ds: desire, determination, and discipline. So when people come in to see me, I say the first D is desire. You're here. You want to change. You want to know what's wrong with you. You've got a doctor and his staff that are listening to you. We're listening. Tell us what's wrong. I'm very interested in my patient's story and where they're at in their life and what's happening in their bodies. I'm very, very interested in that. Functional medicine is listening. The problem in medicine today, they don't listen anymore like they used to. They don't listen. And doctors need to listen. Patients have a story. Well, I'm very interested in that. Then I say, look, okay, we figured it out. Here's your issues, blah, blah, blah. Now go home. I can't go home with you, but go home and change your diet. And a lot of women especially, it's a major goal of theirs is to lose weight. And listen, guys, I understand that they want to lose weight. Everybody wants to lose weight. Women want to lose weight. I understand that. And I get it. But I always tell my patients, look, that isn't necessarily my goal for you. Like, that will be one of the results for you, but it's not my goal. My goal is to reset that body, to reset it with food. And it makes a huge and enormous difference, because when you get your insulin down, you get your inflammation down. That's one of the biggest things. Okay. The other thing that happens is at the mitochondrial level. The mitochondria are your little battery packs. We talked about this maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago and I talked about mitochondrial health. So mitochondria is your battery packs in your body. Now listen, I got a new phone, okay? It's an Apple. I don't know anything about it. It's a new Apple iPhone, top of the line apparently. But I got a bone to pick with my son because for about 4 months, and I'm not kidding you, I had a bad phone. The battery was finished. And I said to Tony Jr., who's the boss, I said, son, I need a new phone. My battery, I'm going to go get a new battery for my phone. He said, Dad, don't do that. We're running out our contract. Our contract's going to be over in about 3 months or whatever, 4 months. So don't go get a new phone. We're all going to get new phones when the contract is up. Oh, for about 4 months, I had a bad phone. Every time I talked on it, it would last about 5 minutes, and that phone would, the batteries would be drained. I literally carried around, you know, those little portable, battery chargers. I had to have that as if my phone wasn't big enough in my pocket. I had to have the charger with me all the time because that stinking phone. And I complained every week to my son. He wasn't listening. But guys, that's what happened when you're exhausted. Your batteries, your mitochondria, they're not working properly. They have no charge. That's called adrenal gland exhaustion. It happens at the mitochondrial level. It happens usually when your stress hormone is on for a long period of time. It's called cortisol, and cortisol is meant to be short term. If I come up behind you and scare you, the fight or flight. But what happens when that goes on for too long? You get drained. And what if you're in a toxic environment, you know, maybe exposed to mold, or you're eating badly for a long period of time, or your hormones are out of whack, and you're stressed and you're not sleeping. Well, what happens at the mitochondrial level? The batteries are not charging. They're not giving off the ATP, which is the energy from your batteries that comes from your food. You might be even eating good, but your batteries are like my old phone. They constantly need charging and they wouldn't hold the charge. Now I have a new phone and I can't believe it. It works. I hardly even have to plug it in. So what happens when you go low carb? It helps to recharge your batteries. Your mitochondria say, thank you. You're giving me a better charge. You're helping me. At the cellular level, your cells start to talk to you and say, thank you, thank you, thank you. I have my batteries are now working. It's one of the greatest things that happens when you eat low carb and lower your insulin. You are helping your mitochondria, the battery packs within your cells. I've proven it to, it's tens of thousands of patients. I wrote my first book on the mitochondria in the late 80s, 90s, early 90s on chronic fatigue syndrome. It's a disorder of the mitochondria. So is fibromyalgia. It is a disorder of the mitochondria. Your batteries, they're not working properly. So guys, this is really, really, really important that you understand this. When you eat low carb, I know you guys know this, when you eat low carb, many, many, many good things happen, many improvements in the body. I think I'll take a couple of weeks to go over this, but here's another one. Let me talk about this. You guys ask me about this every day, and I'm going to repeat it. What causes heart disease? Surprise, surprise. The deaths due to heart disease have increased. All the money we spend on heart disease, give to the heart fund. And all the money we spend on heart disease, and guess what, guys? It's getting worse. Why is that? Because we're looking for love in all the wrong places. Heart disease, heart attacks, strokes do not come from the so-called boogeyman cholesterol. I don't know how many times I have to say it. Cholesterol does not cause heart disease and stroke. And if it did, the deaths from heart disease and stroke would be going down. But it's not going down, it's going up. Newsflash, newsflash. Coming to a theater near you, heart disease and stroke is on its way up. Imagine, because the pharmaceutical industry has hijacked medicine and has made cholesterol the boogeyman when it's not the boogeyman at all. The cause of heart disease and stroke are triglycerides. 3 sugars, triglycerides. 3 sugars that are actually fat in your bloodstream. The dangerous fat are made of 3 sugars. Tri means 3, glycerides, sugars. 3 sugars combined are fat in your bloodstream, and that is dangerous. And guys, you should know this. You should know this. How do you get your triglycerides down? By lowering your cholesterol? No, you don't want to lower your cholesterol. You want to lower your triglycerides. How do you lower your triglycerides? There's no drug for triglycerides. There's no drug. If you're on a statin drug, that drug will not lower your dangerous fat. It just doesn't. It's made to lower your LDL, which is I don't care about. I don't care about your LDL. I care about your triglycerides, your bad fats inside of your bloodstream that are circulating. And you lower your triglycerides by lowering your carbohydrates. It's crappy carbs, guys. It's not fat, it's carbs. I get so uptight. And listen, I'm not angry with you. I love you. I love you guys. It's not you. It's our system. It's the medical system that bothers me because they're looking at the wrong thing. That's why the headline this week is heart attacks and heart disease are on the rise and they're killing more people than ever. And why is that? Because we're carboholics. Yes, it's the sugar. You know, I think it was Bill Clinton who won the election in 1992 in the United States because he kept going after George, the older Bush, and said, "It's the economy, stupid." That was his line and won the election. It's the economy. The American economy was down in a downturn, and Bush lost the election to Bill Clinton because he kept saying, it's not any other issue. It's the economy, stupid. And guys, I would say this to the medical community. It's not cholesterol. It's triglycerides. It's carbohydrates, stupid. It's the carbs. Get the carbs down, inflammation goes down, and triglycerides go down. Yes, you can lower your triglycerides in 4 weeks. You know, when you get your blood work, make sure you find out what your doctor will want to talk to you about your cholesterol. I don't care. You can get your cholesterol. As a matter of fact, I'm interested in your cholesterol numbers. Find out what your HDL is. HDL is good cholesterol. It should be 2.5 times higher than your triglycerides. You want to get high cholesterol, good cholesterol. Look, let me give you a little lesson. I know you know this, but I got to say it to you again. Look, guys, you need good cholesterol. Your God doesn't trust you enough to eat enough cholesterol. 85% of your cholesterol is made in where's your cholesterol made? In your liver. 85% of your cholesterol comes out of your liver. Why? Because without cholesterol, you can't live. Without cholesterol, your bile, it's a precursor to making bile. It's a precursor to making your hormones. Ladies, if you want to stay a woman, and men, if you want to stay a man, you need cholesterol to make up. It's a precursor to your steroid hormones, your estrogen and your progesterone, and men, your testosterone. If you have low cholesterol, you're not going to have good hormones. God doesn't trust you. He don't trust you. He knows you. So you're not going to eat enough cholesterol because you're going to listen to the lies. You're going to be fooled by the cereal companies. Don't eat bacon and eggs. Well, doc, I limit my eggs to 1 or 2 eggs a week. My doctor, listen, go to your plumber. He will have better nutritional advice than your doctor. Call your plumber, 1-800-PLUMBER, and you'll get better advice on nutrition than you will cholesterol. Oh, don't have too much cholesterol. You don't want to have bacon and eggs. And are you kidding me? You got to eat cereal. You got to eat our cereal. And I get my patients that come in, and oh, doc, I have cereal every morning. Well, that's stupid. Why are you having cereal when you can have eggs? Eggs give you good cholesterol. Find out what your HDL is. If your HDL isn't high enough, you're not eating enough bacon and eggs and cheese. I heard it yesterday. I love cheese, but I limit it. Why? Why are you limiting your cheese? Well, it's going to make me fat. It's going to give me cholesterol. No, it won't. It'll give you good cholesterol. How's that? Oh, I get so uptight. I just jump, guys, because listen, we have been lied to. Liars, liars, pants on fire is the food industry, is the pharmaceutical industry. They lied. And people, you know what they said about the younger Bush? Remember that during the Iraq war? He invaded Iraq. The Americans invaded Iraq, and they didn't find any those the warheads and the mass destruction bombs and this kind of stuff. It wasn't there. And remember, and they said Bush lied and people died. Thousands of American soldiers died. And anyways, look, I don't want to get into politics, guys. I'm just giving you a saying. The cereal companies lied and the pharmaceutical companies lied and people died. There you go. Dr. Martin's new rant. They lied and people died. And people are dying today from heart disease and cancer and diabetes and all these things, Alzheimer's and blah, blah, blah. Why? People died because they got lied to. Anyway. Okay, guys, I'm over time already. Okay, just to my rants. So thank you very much for joining. And it's always good to talk to you guys. Okay, share this with your friends. The more the merrier. Pass it around. Love you guys.
You've reached the end of another Doctor is In podcast with your hosts, Dr. Martin Jr. and Sr. Be sure to catch our next episode, and thanks for listening.